Think about what you did.
Nobody makes it to the end of these things. Come on.
The Broken Agenda Podcast. Sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.
How dare you talk trash on peanut allergies? Does it have to kill you? No, it can't, because you got to have eczema and you got to have the... Yeah, okay. No, we're good. All right, anyway. So what are we talking about today? Oh, we're talking about the IRS today.
The devil.
One of the alphabet boys.
Oh, we got tax season coming up, gentlemen. Special episode on the IRS. I don't know. Does anybody even have any strong opinions on this besides me?
Abolish the IRS.
That's a pretty strong opinion. How about you, Jimmy?
I'm going to remain opinionless.
Oh.
You have no opinion on the IRS?
Well, I have an opinion.
Well,
I'm just remaining opinionless for now.
you know you're a co-host on a podcast. Like, holding back your opinion is not really in the job description.
He's going to reserve judgment till the end.
I'm not an IRS researcher. Do I like the IRS? I don't like the IRS.
I just showed up.
I don't like the IRS. Who likes the IRS? Could I possibly sit here and say that they're criminals? It's a criminal enterprise.
Oh, that's the opinion. All right, so we've got abolish the IRS and they're a criminal enterprise. I know. So the genesis of this episode, the reason I said we should do it, obviously we're coming into April 15th is about when this episode will air, so it's timely. But I'm in the middle of a 1.5 year long battle with the IRS, and I thought it would be fun to share it publicly. I mean, why not? But that's not the only reason I did it. As I started doing research during my battle, I had no idea how messed up the IRS was. I mean, I knew they were bad.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're, like Jimmy said, they're
Horrific.
They're like the mob. I mean, all right, so mob stuff? Hold on.
It was probably a good thing when they started, but then they were overthrown. That's the problem. These organizations with power get overthrown by bad people that like leech their way in, and then they take over, you know?
Well, they get...
So I think maybe in the beginning, the intention is always like good, but it ultimately just get...
It's anything with government. You give an inch, they want a mile.
I just think it ultimately somebody creates it for a good intention, and then bad people get in and exploit it.
Well, first they create it for good intention, then it unionizes.
Okay.
Then bad people get in and exploited.
Okay.
You got to add that step, because the union guarantees the bad people stay. That's how it gets so bad. All right, so if we're going to talk about, so it sounds like you were...
The IRS isn't a union, though, is it?
Yeah, IRS is absolutely unionized.
Are you serious?
Yep, it's a government agency. It's unionized. Actually, hold on, wait. This one I found fun. It's a union that's not only so corrupt that it's the IRS, but they did an audit in 2021 and found that 40% of their printers were not working. So they dug into why 40%. This is an $80 billion agency with a B.
Yeah.
$80 billion agency. The reason they found, nobody saw it as their job to replace the toner. They were actually buying printers instead of replacing the toner because it wasn't their job to do that. What else? Hold on. We're talking about...
Why didn't they hire a toner changer?
The union didn't approve it, I guess. I don't freaking know. In 2015, the law requires that they annually complete a mandated tax complexity report. They have to do this by law. Found out in 2015 they hadn't done it since 2002. Just didn't do it. Just nobody felt like doing it. So
Nobody felt that it was their job.
Nah, it just didn't happen. In 2016...
They put that in the corner with the toner gun.
It was just a stack of printers that were perfectly fine with no toner and blank reports. Right in the corner next to Jimmy's desk. He's like, what's going on?
Who's responsible for that stuff?
Jimmy's the only one replacing toner. He's got carpal tunnel in his hand. He's got repetitive stress disorder in his elbow. In 2016, this is a good one. There was a report that states that they failed to track over 1,000 laptops given to contractors with our information on it. They just were handing them out like Pez and just said, nah, keep it. Just take it to China. No, we don't care. Just do whatever you want. Over 1,000 laptops with your information on it. It's all just Jimmy's information. 2017, there was a report that showed that they rehired over 200 employees that they had previously in the last couple of years fired due to incompetence. They just said, come on back, that's fine.
Well, they found competence. Maybe they hired them to change the toner.
They still weren't doing it. Between 2017 and 2019, they failed to hire 5,000 employees that they were budgeted to hire. They had the money. It was given their budget. And when they were asked why they didn't hire those 5,000 employees, it was because the bureaucracy was so poor and the union contracts wouldn't allow it. So they can't get their work done because they need more employees. So you authorize more employees and they won't hire them because the union won't let them. This is just under my ineptitude category. I have a category called ineptitude. That's how I had to organize the agenda because... Are you looking at it?
Yeah.
It says ineptitude.
Yeah, it does.
I didn't know what else to name it. I was like, this is just like if any individual business... What was that movie? Did you guys ever watch the movie Dave?
Dave.
No. It was about a president who had like a stroke or something. I don't know. And he was comatose. And they found a guy that looked exactly like him. And they said, we're going to pretend you're the president until this guy gets better. Right?
Oh, Biden. Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Oh, my God. It's totally Biden. Dave. We're going to start calling him Dave.
Brandon.
So they brought this guy in. They said, just keep your mouth shut and look like the president. Well, we're going to heal him. It'll be fine. Right? So this guy was like a cell phone salesman. I don't know what it's. It was Kevin Kline. Which I love Kevin Kline. He's a good actor. He was Life is a House. I don't know what else it is. I'm going to look it up. IMDb, that crap.
I guess we need to watch the movie Dave.
So at one point, it was a good movie. It's kind of a dumb concept, but it was a good movie. So at one point, he's just a dude. And he had a buddy who was just a dude who was a CPA. And he's like, hey, will you come in here and look at the books for the government? Which is a silly concept in and of itself. So he brings his buddy in and gives him some, like a turkey sandwich and some, iced tea or whatever. And they sit around in the president's conference room. And the CPA makes a comment that cracked me up. He goes, I don't even know what I'm looking at. If I ran my business like this, I'd be out of business. And that line, it's such a dumb line, but every time we do one of these government episodes, I cannot help but think about that line. If I ran my business, yeah. I don't know. What else? What other ones do you like on here under ineptitude? Any of these worth reading?
Well, yeah, that's because they have the money printer. They just
They really do.
fix everything with the money printer.
That's the Fed.
Yeah, but
they're the borrowers.
they're cahoots. They print it.
Hey, dude.
They collect it back.
Hey, yo.
It's the
Hey,
circle
yo.
of life.
Hey, like, hey, yo, Fed, we need some more dollars.
Oh, snap! They're like true mafia.
Yo, Fed, can you slide us some dollars?
Is the IRS in Jersey? Is that what's going on?
I don't know.
Or is that Long Island?
No, I just found that on the way in.
Hey.
It was laying on the floor. Picked it up.
Fair enough.
Kicked it down the stairs from the garage.
Oh, here's a good one. This year, 2022, a report showed that they've just been sending letters to people asking them to send in their 2020 tax returns, even after they've already cashed the checks from the 2020 tax returns that those people sent in with their filed returns. So they took the return, filed it, cashed the check, took the money, waited a year, and then sent out a letter saying you'll be penalized and your stuff will be taken if you don't file your 2020 tax returns. But they already cashed the check. Like
They just need a short-term loan.
I want to see. You know what?
If they could get it for a year, then they'll give it back.
They won't give it back. They never give it back.
Well,
They never give it back.
don't they?
That's the worst. I'm sorry. I'm a little.
Yeah, they're just waiting. They're just waiting on the printers. They're waiting on toner.
They're just hoping you'll die.
They're just waiting on toner.
Like we drag this out long enough, people are finite.
As soon as the Fed gets the toner replaced, they'll be back in. Everyone get their tax money back.
So it's the whole thing's a toner problem.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It does sound like it. I'm
If
pretty
it's
sure.
if there's a toner problem at the IRS, it might be carrying through all the way.
I wonder how many billions we could charge them to just send a guy out once a day and swap toner.
I don't know. I feel like we need to
Sounds like we should start a
call the
toner
GSA
business.
services, find out if they need some help.
Yeah.
Toner contract.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a toner contract. You supply the toner, we'll change it for you.
Just Brad and Justin walking
Just
around the
walking.
IRS, ninja swapping toner cartridges.
What would you call that?
That would have to be a
Toner-
whole division.
Toner.
They'd probably pay us $43 billion to do it. Like,
We're looking for toner replacement specialists.
toner. Well, you can't say that. Toner replacement. So it would have to be TRS.
TRS.
So we need 2 highly qualified TRS agents.
TRS level 3.
A TRS
level
agent.
3 qualified TRS level 3 certified agents.
Okay. Yeah.
Certified engineers.
With GS5 clearance and pay scales.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Should get that ad going.
other stuff. I don't know what else. Like that's all I got. I'm out.
Put that on Craigslist.
My list? Nice. Well, wait, hold on. So don't worry. It's going to be fine because they're doubling the size of the IRS. So Biden already authorized it. So
Cool. That means they're going to be short twice as much. Don't
but it'll still be 40%. That's the beautiful part about doubling.
Yeah. Percentages stay the same.
We double the printers, but the same percentage. So
They'll still be operating at 2/3 capacity, a little less maybe.
And that'd be 2/5.
Be two. Yeah.
I don't know why I clarified that. That's sorry.
Well, it's not really 2/3 either,
It,
or 2/5.
I don't even know if we're doing. Are we doing a show right now?
It's
Is that what's happening?
1/16, I think. Yeah.
It'd be like-
1/16 of the
What,
land.
40?
It'd be like
No, it's
nine
what it
six.
is.
Oh,
They'd be
no.
operating
That's-
at like
we're on a
9/16
fraction.
capacity.
I want to join the party.
Just jumping in.
I say 9/16 capacity.
Oh boy.
You know what? Moving on. So I actually have more on the ineptitude front, but I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I like
So-
the ineptitude.
Do you?
I think you should finish.
All right, fine. What else do we got? Oh, okay. Here, you'll like this one. In 2013, reports showed that they used over 500,000 hours on union activities.
500,000?
500,000 hours. I think they estimated it cost like $24 million in taxpayer dollars. Look it up. Yeah, do some.
No. I was gonna do some math because
Half of 1 million
let's do some
union
math.
workers.
Show your math.
I don't know.
Show
I
your
was
math
gonna
on
figure
screen.
Well, I bet the union. Well, obviously the union workers are happy.
Well, it was just union activities. So that could have been knitting. We don't actually know what the union activities were. They just said it was union activities. It was more than 500,000, by the way, but we'll round
Let's
down.
round it
We're
down.
going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
So it's 1,400.
Is there any union
Hours a day.
toner changers?
Well, I mean, they have a lot of employees. So, but 500,000, I mean, what exactly does your union need that you need 500,000 hours?
I don't know. That's kind of what it's 171 employees screwing off every day for 8 hours for union activities.
Union activities. Look, somebody's got to do the activities. So many activities, Tyler.
I said somebody like licking envelopes to send out. Like,
As long as it's for the union, not for
Yeah,
the IRS.
that's what I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's got to be for the union. No, it's probably like planning Peg's birthday.
yeah, exactly. Surprise party.
What kind of cupcake should we get? I don't know. Maybe we should bring more people in, and there's a conference room full of people talking about Megs because everybody loves Megs.
Trying to establish what kind of cupcakes they should.
Yeah.
Fighting over what kind of cake.
Float.
It's like the Office.
I bet they built a bracket. I
Probably
bet
did.
they did. It was like alopecia cupcakes, versus eczema cupcakes. It was just, see, we're about as efficient as the IRS. I gotta imagine we're more entertaining though. I hope so. All right, hold on. So we're gonna steer away though from ineptitude because if you liked ineptitude, I think you're gonna like corruption.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the juicy.
you mean that's the
Well,
number
it's-
2?
Yeah, that's
military,
the that's,
government
These categories
organization
just
that's
get better and better.
it's don't. It's just read the facts. Like you don't have to pass judgment on the IRS.
No, I'm just surprised. I didn't know that the government was corrupt in any way, shape, or form.
No, it's not possible. They're
I thought
very
they were
well run.
incorruptible.
I had that talk with a buddy of mine. He's a very big government guy. And he's like, we need more government so we can ensure peace. And I was like, you do know that just about every genocide that's ever happened in the history of humanity happened at the hands of a government, right? And he just looked at me. He's like, no. And I was like, all right, name me one that didn't. And then he left. He didn't want to talk anymore.
I feel like saying you want more government is like being in your 30s and be like, I just feel like living with my parents again.
My brother did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to apologize.
No, but
He
that's
had
what it's like.
He had a sweet deal though. My mom made him lunch at like the age of 30.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
In like a brown bag. Like it was like he was going. I actually bought him as a gag gift one year for Christmas. I bought him a He-Man lunchbox because I thought it was unprofessional for him to show up to his
brown
job
bag.
at an
With a
insurance
brown
company with a brown bag from his mom. So I was like, it's got a thermos in there and it's got
It's
insulated
matching.
inside.
And it matches.
yeah, and it
So when you-
yes, the thermos.
You're going to look
matches.
very organized when you get that out.
And you can eat by the power of Grayskull. So you really feel that energy, right into your colon or wherever.
And
it
are you
goes on.
saying he didn't appreciate the gift?
He
or-
didn't even giggle. My dad thought it was funny.
Oh.
Dad got a good kick out of that. To be fair, that brother doesn't talk to me anymore, so
Oh.
I might have pushed the relationship too far. But we had a good run.
Is your real brother?
Yeah.
Oh.
Versus
How many brothers you got?
2.
Oh.
So
That's 50-50.
that's 50-50.
One talks to you.
Yeah, the other one likes me. So yeah, we're good. I don't know if he doesn't like me. He just doesn't answer my calls.
Just pretends to like you.
He just likes to like me in secret.
The other brother sends that brother to come get info and take it back.
No, my other brother probably
He's
likes me
doing
because he lives in
reconnaissance.
Idaho. So there's enough of a buffer there that I'm
He's-
tolerable.
He's a hoe.
He's a hoe. Idaho.
Idaho.
Idaho. Yeah, can't say that. That's transgendered hate speech.
Oh,
They the hoed?
I
They,
don't.
them the hoed?
I don't want to. I don't want
I'll call it them the hoed. Wait, I is not transgender. You can say
No,
I.
I doesn't have any gender inflection.
No, it's just you putting the he in it. You threw me all off. All
to.
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna.
But He-Man, I can't say.
I don't want to tread on that ground anymore.
Should I ask for the lunchbox back?
I would
Because it's a hate crime.
if he didn't appreciate it.
I mean, but he is wearing like.
Do you think he still has a lunchbox?
Oh no! I probably threw it away like
Really?
Christmas afternoon. I probably didn't even take it home.
Do you think he stepped on it and bent it?
Yeah, probably. Although it was mostly cheap plastic, so it probably cut him.
Oh.
So, haha, I win.
Oh yeah, they don't make metal lunchboxes anymore.
Nah, I couldn't. I wanted to find like a good solid metal one that was indestructible. But
That's
they don't.
probably what upset him.
It was
Son
the
of-
quality of the gift.
Son of a bitch gave me a plastic lunchbox.
I also got my dad one year.
As a,
I bought 7 pieces of luggage, and I sewed them to each other, and then I put sticky labels, S, M, T, W, T, F, S on each one.
what?
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I told him it was his new pillbox organizer.
Oh my god.
Have you ever watched this guy take pills? It's nauseating. like he has to double fist them, and then he like kind of like slurps them like a soup, like, and they just go down like
a
there's
bowl of
so
chili.
many pills. Like I don't know, that can't be good, right? Like, and some of the pills actually designed to offset other pills. Like there's pills.
It's a balance.
They're fighting
Yeah.
in there. Like there's a war going on, and he has to take
This is
them-
good. This part's good for you, but it'll kill you. But we'll give you this, and that way it'll neutralize that. And
Yeah.
But then if this does it, then there's a reaction there, so we got to send this over here to the.
I don't know. I feel like a stiff wind and he explodes. There's just too much going on in there. There's way too much chemistry happening. But I don't know. I mean, he's in good health, so maybe they're all
They're onto something.
they're doing something. I don't know, but it's
Making somebody a lot of money.
it's a lot of pills, man. I don't get involved in that, but still thought it was kind of funny. See, now he's a good sport. He thought it was funny.
But he needed luggage, right?
he did need the luggage. Actually, I ended up with one luggage bag. So, ching ching. Again, win for me. All right, so here, I don't know. Have you ever heard of them doing military style raids? I didn't know this was a thing. So there was a whole thing in 1998 about this where they were arming IRS agents like the firearm and tobaccos.
Yeah, ATF.
Agents? ATF,
Yeah.
thank you. Like ATF agents. And if you were on their list, they just kicked your door down and came flying in like the Gestapo.
I feel like I remember reading about this at one point.
Do you?
Yeah.
I never heard about it until I was doing research for this episode. That's flipping terrifying.
I've heard about them getting raided by Scientology.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Operation Snow White.
Tell me more.
It was an operation by the Church of Scientology to raid the IRS.
Did they?
So
Well, isn't the IRS just an office building, right?
it is, but I think they were stealing files because they were trying to get their tax exempt for being a religion.
Why didn't they just get one of those laptops the IRS was handing out like candy?
Because this was in like the 70s.
Oh, okay. Wait, Scientology was around in the 70s?
Yeah, it's been around for a long time.
Has it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
L. Ron Hubbard was like 20s, I think he was born.
Now, he was alive when they started the church, so yeah, okay.
Mhm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he was the guy who cashed in on everything.
You can't. Yeah. No, yeah, I hear you. Interesting. Did they get what they wanted?
Yeah, I mean, they got their tax exempt and all that. They raided and got all the files. Some of them got thrown in jail, I think, but
Small price to pay for Scientology?
Scientology.
Yeah, I don't. They just seem like a bunch of
Xeno.
peanuts to me. It's.
I think it'd be cool
it's
to know
very
it.
interesting.
I think it'd be cool to know somebody who is an IRS agent.
I think it'd be cool to know somebody who was a Scientologist.
Just go to Philly. There's a church.
Is there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just you'll probably need to be audited before you go and all that good stuff.
Huh. They're not just gonna let you. Well, I know there's rings to it. Like they have multiple levels. Like it's like a pyramid scheme.
Like a
Yeah,
Mason.
and you pay X amount of dollars. I mean,
Yeah.
we could talk an entire episode about Scientology.
Should we do an episode on Scientology?
That would, yeah, which we would probably get a lot of viewers because Scientology is very active in shutting things down.
Ooh. Go shut us down. I don't give a crap.
I've heard the term Scientology, but
Scientology is a religion that's based off of the writings of L. Ron Hubbard. There was a book called Dianetics.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's based off that. And that's basically your first entry into Scientology.
And what are they claiming? That
That we,
I mean, some of even their followers don't really know what they claim.
but the
until
broad
you
strokes are we
pay.
were brought here by aliens, right?
Yeah, like there were.
I mean, most of what I know about Scientology came from South Park. I want to be very clear.
Yeah, no.
So-
Well, that was actually a pretty good episode on it. Yeah, like Xenu. I think Xenu's the guy. Like put a bunch of people in 747s and flew them to Earth, and then dropped us in like the lava pits or whatever, and then we grew from that.
grew from the lava pits.
Something like that. It's been a while since I've really dug into Scientology.
All right, we're doing an episode on it. Let's go.
Yeah,
off this for
I'd
now.
like to.
But I need to know more.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated. All I know is that they're nuts, and Tom Cruise is the king of the nuts. Is really all I know. And I saw a movie on it once, and it seemed terrifying. And South Park
Yeah.
made fun of them, and it was funny.
Watch the documentary. We can talk about it, but documentaries are.
What?
Crazy.
I think I saw one of the documentaries on Netflix where they were doing the undercover camera stuff and trying to infiltrate the church, and it was spooky as crap.
Just what I think it's on Netflix. Leah Remini.
Never
She
heard
was
of
in King of Queens.
Oh yeah, okay,
The
yeah.
actress. She had a whole show on A&E for a while about talking to people who left because she had just left like 2013, I think.
Okay.
And she rallied heavily against the church, but she did interviews with people who were like ex-members, like talk about their tactics and stuff.
All right, we got to do an episode
Yeah,
on this.
yeah.
You got to lead that episode too. I need
All
you.
right.
I need you to steer us.
That's an old book. I remember that when I was in kid. Dianetics.
Yeah, it was from
by
the,
L.
like,
Ron
Remember those
Hubbard.
commercials?
Yeah.
60s or
Yeah.
70s. Yep.
That's. You know what? I'm gonna read the book.
I'm gonna read the
Be
book.
careful. Apparently, it's a slippery slope.
Why?
You think I'm gonna get?
It's gonna brainwash you.
Dude, I mean, Will Smith is a Scientologist.
Yeah, but he's soft and
He's the
pliable.
Fresh Prince.
No, he left his Fresh Prince on Chris Rock's face. Boom, I'll be here all day. 6 o'clock show is the same as 4 o'clock. Don't worry about it.
That way we can miss the 4.
You'll miss them both. You'll be waiting at the bar. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. Well, I'm glad that somebody's reverse seizing the IRS. That's good to hear. Well, you guys heard about when they were targeting conservative charities, right?
I did hear about that.
That was what, about 10 years ago? That was a big deal. Nobody went to jail for that. I don't think anybody even got fired for that. In fact, I think some of the people involved in that got promoted. And that's about as corrupt as you can be. I mean, you're literally leveraging the power of your office to violate the integrity of your office. I mean, it's Watergate level crap. And people got promoted.
But isn't that how it works in government? The more ineptitude, or the more inept you are, the more likely you are to rise through the ranks.
Less government.
I think my wife's uncle works for the IRS. He's retired now.
You want to have him on the show?
I think he got his son in there.
Yeah.
They audit businesses and stuff.
If he was also a Scientologist, he'd be perfect.
I don't know if he is a Scientologist.
Ask him.
I don't think he is.
Okay. Oh, well, it was worth a shot. Well, did you hear about the leak in 2012?
No, I don't think so.
The leak.
Oh, the leak of the like.
Where they
donations
were
and stuff?
sending out the donors for conservative?
I think that's what I had heard about initially.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, what is this one's my favorite, though. All right, Jimmy, you'll like this one. 2015, a report came out that said that over 1,600 IRS employees hadn't paid their own taxes in over a decade.
This is exactly why I don't like government.
And
They enforce rules that they don't follow.
And less than half of them were fired, and a
They're
bunch of the ones that weren't
Just
fired
like
also got
cops,
promoted.
they get off work, they go to the bar, get drunk, drive home, speed, and then when they get pulled over, they just say who they are, and then they go about their business. This is the problem with our society.
Well, it's the problem with every
people
society.
get up, and then they don't they have no honor.
Yeah. Well, I bet, at least with the police, your independent precincts that have cultures. And yeah, there's some bad cops and there might be some bad precincts and everything else, but the vast majority of them do live by a code of honor. And
They're honored to each other.
they're even gonna drum out, if it's a good precinct, they're gonna drum out the idiot that's driving around drunk every night. Like, they're only gonna let it go for so long. But yeah, they get a longer leash because they're behind the blue wall. But but that's a lower money level. They're all working towards a common good. They're working within their community and everything else. I find the more local your focus, the less likely to be wildly corrupt. If you start going national, who cares? Everybody's just a number, especially the IRS.
Like, shouldn't our IRS actually be focused more on our politicians and auditing politicians to make sure that they stay not corrupt?
I think politicians should have mandatory annual audits.
I mean, they should be audited to the hilt.
There should be a
The problem is it's the other way around. Like, you know, they're like protecting them.
Now, have you ever been audited?
No.
Have you ever been audited?
No.
Okay. I've never been audited. I've seen audits happen, but I've never been personally audited. It looks very comfortable. You know, like the back seat of a Volkswagen.
I wouldn't be worried about being audited. I think I run tight ship.
No, well,
I think it'd be easy for me to produce numbers. Like, I would never really be too concerned
no,
about
I'd never really worry about the number side of it. Although, like, here's a story, and I think I told you this story once before. I don't think I've ever told you. My old CPA, not my current one, but she told me one of her clients got audited, and the IRS agent said, "Hey, you know, I'd like to come to your office. Your account came up flagged. We're going to do a basic audit and just take a look around." And he was like, "I got nothing to hide. I run a tight ship. Come on over to my office," right? So the IRS agent sets an appointment. He comes out. He sits down across the desk from the guy. They're talking. They're having a good time. Everything's checking out. He's like, "All right, well, everything looks really good. I don't think we have any problems here. By the way, what's that in the corner?" And the business owner goes, "Oh, that's my yoga mat." He goes, "You know, at lunchtime, you know, some of these days are long and some of these client calls are really tough. So at lunch, you know, I get something to eat real quick and then I'll do like 20, 30 minutes of yoga to help relax myself." So the IRS agent goes, "So this office is not 100% business use in your home?" And he's like, "Oh, no, it's 100% business use. It's got a separate entrance and everything else. I only use it for business." He goes, "I do that for myself at lunch." And he goes, "But you're doing something non-business related in your office."
What a dick.
And he goes, "Yeah, you can't take that
What a fucking
you can't take
dick.
that as a business expense." And we go back 5 years. He ended up owing like $100,000 for tax write-offs for his at-home business.
Yeah.
Because all the write-offs got written off, plus back taxes back 5 years, plus penalties and interest for those 5 years.
See, you know, this is exactly, they kept telling me you should write shit off at your house. No way. I'm not writing anything off at my house because I knew it stank immediately when they told me.
See, my CPA said the opposite. She
Uh-huh.
goes, "Yeah, write it off. Just don't ever let them in your house.
Yeah,
You just meet them at their office."
I was like, no way. I'm not writing my house off. I'm not writing my electric. I ain't even stepping foot in that pond.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It is a fuzzy water.
Yeah.
It's fuzzy
I got my drums in my
Murky
office. Like,
Murky water.
fuzzy cat.
yeah.
That's not a saying.
That's really a douchebag
Right?
move.
That is 100% douchebaggery.
Yeah,
That is Frodo douchebaggery.
for sure.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, now look.
Am I allowed to say that word?
Oh, you're good. It's fine.
Sorry.
I mean-
Well, I guess I should be asking about the F-bomb I dropped a little bit.
We mark these as explicit, so
Do
everyone's
we?
warned.
Okay.
We have a whole nother reel that we're going to release at the end of the year. It's just Jimmy Unleashed. And it's just it's a series of clips of you just dropping F-bombs.
Really?
It's gonna be like that.
Are you
scene in
doing
Boondock
that?
Saints
Yes.
with Rocco dropping his f bombs.
I'd like to see that.
Every
Actually.
once in a while, Tyler pops in and says,
Sometimes I do. You
says a naughty word.
You guys
That's
get my
backwards.
blood going.
"You're welcome."
Thanks.
Well, look, we got to keep you alive, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's at your age,
I need stimulation.
you need stimulation. Exactly. He's wearing his tuna boat hat.
If I'm gonna stay engaged, I need stimulation.
He's wearing his tuna boat hat yesterday and like a big construction jacket, and he's got a scraggly beard, and he's hunched over walking around my property, and my wife's down in North Carolina, and she looks at the video cameras at the house, and she goes, "Hey, babe, I don't know what's going on, but it looks like there's a homeless guy on the property." And I go, "That's Jimmy. Don't worry about it. Get back to work." It's a classic Jimmy moment.
Oh, it's not Wednesday. Today's Tuesday.
And then he had the wrong day. That was
Could I get a hamburger?
gladly pay you Tuesday. Oh, man. How are we doing on time?
I think we have like a minute.
Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
about
Oh,
20
nailed
seconds.
it. All right. Well, then I think we started a little early, so let's cut away for commercials and then come back and talk more nonsense.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. See you soon.
I love nonsense. To make a metaverse game.
Of celebrities fighting each other.
Bitch smack.
All right. So what would their secret powers be? Like, let's think of some celebrities.
Well,
So-
bitch smack would be the ultimate.
Well,
move.
obviously Will Smith's end move would be the bitch slap. Like
Yeah.
that's how and then your like spine comes out. Like it's like Mortal Kombat. You know, hey, oh, bitch slap. And then like what would Clooney's move be?
Clooney?
Yeah. Clooney would softly talk to you
I
until
was
you
saying,
fall
yeah,
asleep.
like whisper in your ear
and then
or
he'd,
something.
and then he'd murder you in your sleep.
Who's the dude that was the
He got
star in
Clooney'd.
300?
Oh, that's
Gerard Butler?
Gerard Butler. He's not that jacked. I don't. What did they? Did they
He
have body
doesn't have,
suits
like,
on
a-
those guys?
No, so it was a
Was that
legit
lighting?
workout that they had to do. They had
Yeah.
to train because there was a whole
The whole crew.
Like the guy who trained all the actors had some success after the movie because he was selling the program, like how to get Trojan ads,
Well, I mean,
abs.
First of all, we've really watered down the gene pool. If that's where we were like 3,000 years ago, and now we're here. Like 3,000 years of evolution, we should be nothing but abs. We should be like 14 packs from our knees to our forehead. Like,
Yeah, except we figured out that whole thing that sugar tastes good.
it's so good.
It's much easier to sit there and consume sugar than not eat sugar and run.
Than to fight wolves with a stick when you're 9.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stare at
All
a
right.
wolf.
Fair enough. We got a little soft. This one's on us. All right. No bracket for this one.
Imagine that, son, it's time for you to become a man. I'm going to send you out in that field over there. You got to defend against that wolf.
Well, I was thinking about
Imagine that was like your...
I just had that conversation with my son. He's 9. I forget what he was. I think he was like scared to come out, like go in his bedroom because it was too dark. I was like, Jax, at your age, the Native Americans were sending their kids out into the woods to survive for like a year.
Well, they used to do the bear slap.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the test of a man. You had to go up to a bear and slap it. Like, well, you had to Will Smith it, and then you had to get away before it mauled you to death. Like, and I was like, all right, you're a man now. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but that is kind of badass. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I think we
slap a
should go
bear.
back to that.
I would pick a baby
yeah.
bear. I would slap a cub so hard.
no, that'd be more dangerous. You'd be dead
Mama bear.
because Mama Bear's nearby.
Yeah, they get.
She's gonna maul you.
But imagine then you come back and you just slap the bear, and then you got away, and then you come back with the chip on your shoulder, and you're running around town.
How did anyone know?
Well,
that
that's the
somebody
thing.
slapped
You're running around
They
the
didn't have
village.
Native American YouTube. Like, there's nobody who was recording it off on the other hill.
I feel like they just smoked a bunch of peyote and we're
Yeah.
like, I saw you do it.
Put hooks in their chest and floated back around the
He
fire.
totally slapped that bear, bro.
Did you see that when they hook their chest?
Oh, yeah.
Hook their chest and then they back up and spin around the pool till they pass out
What?
to tell the future. Did you ever see that? I don't know what tribe
I've
it
never
was.
seen it. I've heard of it.
So it's a tribe. They put a hook through their skin in their chest, and then they back up and they spin around the pole, and they just spin till they pass out, and then they would tell, the visions, and that was how they would.
Yeah, but you know what? Telling
Foresee
the
the
future
future.
back then was
Yeah.
so dumb because every year was exactly the same. Like they're like, it's gonna get.
They were trying to
cold in a
find
couple
out if they
months.
if
But
they
then
would
it'll
have-
get warmer, and then we'll have to hunt. Like
They wanted to know-
Johnny nailed it.
What they really
All
wanted
those
to
things
know
happen.
is if they had crops. Are we going to have crops this year? Like
They
that's
didn't
probably
really
the big
f-
thing. Because
most
if they don't have
American
crops,
tribes
we gotta hunt more. We gotta figure out what we're going to do if there's no crops.
But most Native American tribes were transient. They weren't really agrarian. I mean, there were
Early-
some.
Yeah, I would say early on they were transient, and they were transient within their regions.
Yeah.
But
I'd like to know more about my tribe that my family comes from, the Chippewas. My
I feel like
great
the Chippewas.
my
you
great
find
grandmother
all
was
about.
a full blood Chippewa. They're a pretty mild tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're still a pretty large tribe, right? So you could probably find a lot.
Well, yeah,
It's
they
kind of like Seminole Nation and stuff.
Where were the Chippewas?
they were. I mean, up this way, they were like the Trail of Tears is the. They ran them out
Like
to
the
Canada.
Midwest. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Native American culture is kind of awesome. I just have never dove in enough.
I don't know why I didn't. I always think about it, but I don't.
I got heavy into the Mayan culture for a while. But
Mayan
not
stuff,
really
yeah.
the North American Native cultures. Mayan and Incan.
Yeah.
Those suckers were violent.
Yeah.
Oof.
I mean, all of the native tribes really were.
They really were. I love how they paint them now as basically hippies, like dancing with butterflies in the field. And I'm
Yeah.
like, they were murdering all the time.
Yeah.
There was so much murder.
Like if they saw somebody, they murdered them
Just murder.
by hand.
All of them were named
Like
murder.
just chased them down and murdered them.
Yeah.
They would take, was it the Mayans? I think the Mayans would take kids, raise them to be sacrifices.
Yes.
Take them to the top of a mountain,
That was the
bury them alive.
That was the Aztecs, I believe.
Was it? Yeah, the Aztecs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because there's, what is it? They found like 3 bodies perfectly preserved up in the mountains of Chile, I think.
And they just loved beheading people.
Yeah. it's like-
They hated when heads were attached.
It's like humans are just stupid, man.
It's,
I mean, all the way around forever.
Well, look, I mean,
If it's not like it's one stupid generation after
you got to go through
another.
growing pains. Sometimes you got to be head a bitch. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and judge, but at the same time,
It's
I don't
like-
want to deify them like they were great. But no, they were beheading people, and
But it's
if
like-
you lost at sports, they killed your team.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Just life or death.
it was a brutal society. Like,
But it's like no generation gets any smarter. They just make some different royal screw up.
I feel like you haven't been listening to me at all. I'm a genius.
Oh.
I say this every episode.
Every episode.
Every episode. Like,
52 weeks.
so much smarter than everyone else. Like, Jesus. Generationally intelligent.
I need to listen to you more.
No, do not listen to me more. Everyone around me gets dumber when they listen to the words that come out of my pie hole. It is not a good scenario. For
Sometimes
me.
I'm thinking while you're talking and I don't hear what you say.
No, I am too. If it wasn't for Tyler jumping in, I'd just keep talking because I'm not paying attention. It's tragic. Are we still doing the IRS?
Yeah. Back to the show. Back to the show.
Oh, I have a category here. Silence is financial violence. I don't even remember what that's.
What?
Oh, all right. So check that. So let me tell my story. All right, hold on. So I forgot I even had a story. So I talked about my story in the first half, but this is crazy. I'll try to give you the short version. So in 2019, my wife was a contractor. So she did 1099 work. But in 2020, she switched to W-2 with her primary customer because she was doing too many hours and they were worried about breaching labor laws.
Yeah.
So they switched to W-2. But what happened was that the IRS took her 1099 income from 2019, added 20%, and then said, we don't care that she's making a W-2 with tax deferment in it now. Instead, you have to pay all of that for 2020. The total amount you made in 2019 plus 20%. Oh, and 2019, she didn't make her quarterly payments. So we had to cut a fairly substantial check in 2020. It was not comfortable. It was backseat of a Volkswagen again. But we did it. We argued a little bit, but they weren't budging. We were like, all right, there's nothing we can do here. So we basically paid 3 years of taxes at once. And it hurt. But we knew we were going to get it back. Jimmy said, you always get it back, right? All right, let's talk about that. So then 2020 ends, and we file our taxes. And we have a substantial return because they have all of our money. And we're like, can we please have our money back? And they said, no. Right? So they just didn't accept our return for a while. Then they finally accepted it with a hold. This is going on months. Now we're talking, this was 2020. This has been about a year and a half now. So then they finally called me. The IRS called me, never a good look, and interviewed me on the phone to confirm that I'm a real person that actually deserves this money. And I'm like, it's my money. Like, I don't deserve anything. I gave it to you for 0%. It's a loan. You're welcome. Can I have it back now? I'm not even charging you anything. So the woman on the phone couldn't find any reason to screw me. So she goes, all right, we'll give you your money. It'll take 9 weeks. I'm like, seems like a long time to cut a check, but fine, 9 weeks. So 6 weeks into the 9 weeks, I get a bill. Right? It says I now owe them $3,000. And I'm like, wait, but you owe me a lot of money. And now you're just pretending that doesn't exist and saying I owe you even more money. So now I go to, this is where it gets fun. So I contact my CPA. He loses his mind. He's like, it's friggin' baloney. They're doing this to other clients, right? I'm not the only one going through this. There's a bunch of people all going through the same thing. And I said, well, you know, I will sign off on a authorization for you to represent me. Can you call them and figure out what the heck's going on here and fix it? And he goes, yeah, no problem. Sign the paperwork, give it to him. He calls me back a week later and goes, yeah, here's the problem. Apparently the IRS screwed a lot of people, and all those people started calling for their money, so they unplugged their phones. And I go,
No, someone just tripped over the cord.
well, somebody was responsible for plugging it in.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It was the toner guy, and he's that guy's.
No, they don't have the cord replacement guy.
So they don't have the cord replacement guy. Well, it's a union job. It's gonna take a while. So I said, what do you mean they unplug their phones? He's like, yeah, they just don't take calls anymore. Like, you call up and it rings and rings. It goes to an auto attendant, and then it basically says, sorry, we're busy. And hangs up. So I called because I'm like, that can't be right. And sure enough, it basically says, yeah, we're super busy and we don't have time for you. So I don't know. Good luck. And it hangs up on you. It's really frustrating. I'd rather get a busy signal. That's how like infuriating it is. So your head turns pink after a couple of calls. So I said, well, can you fax them? He's like, no, they turn their faxes off. I was like, well, they have an online chat feature on their website. Can you chat with somebody? He goes, yeah, they stopped accepting chats. And I was like,
Dude.
what do you do? And he goes, well, we can send them a letter. And I go, we'll send them a letter. He goes, they're 18 months behind in their correspondence, and they think it might actually be closer to 24. And I'm like, wait, so even if we send them a letter now, they won't even get it until it's like time travel. This is like Marty McFly shit. Like I send a letter now, and it travels 2 years into the future before. So I said, so what do we do? He goes, I don't know. He's my CPA. He's like, I got a ton of people in the same boat. You can't get a hold of them. They're like hiding with Biden in his basement. Like they just don't want to. So I had to open up a congressional inquiry with the federal Senate. Like I had a senator and a member of the House of Representatives. Both had to open inquiries into the IRS. I'm fighting with the IRS through the Senate and the House of Representatives. Finally they got a hold of him. I guess they know Biden's basement's address. I don't know. They get a hold of him, and their response was, well, it's their fault, and said that we filed our taxes wrong. Well, my CPA lost it, because apparently what they told us we should have done is in direct violation of the actual tax code. So he copied the tax code and emailed it back to the senator and said, this is their tax code. What they're telling you to do is technically illegal. So they said, we don't know. And I said, we'll send it over to them. So finally they agree that maybe, and we know what they did. All they basically did was just pretended that my wife's payments didn't exist, and just then it would all go away. So we'd already did the math for them. We even told them where they screwed up. We couldn't even see anything they're doing. We're like, it's not that hard. It's math. We're a year and a half in. They finally admitted that I no longer owe the $3,000 that was imaginary in the first place. I still haven't gotten a tax return, and may or may not ever get one. But
yeah, but think about all the other people that would have happened to, or could have happened to, and how quickly they wrote that check.
Yeah.
Who didn't have the knowledge or the.
They would have cut the $3,000 check.
Just cut the $3,000 check.
Never gotten their return.
Just like whatever.
Billions of dollars.
I'm not in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, I refuse. I was like, I'll pay $30,000 in lawyers before I pay a $3,000 bill. I was like, I don't trust you idiots with a potato gun. Like, not happening. So, yeah. So, there you go. So, silence is financial violence.
I'm sorry you're in the middle of a public heist.
Oh, I don't care. So. At this point, I'm kind of hoping they keep screwing me so I get to sue them. Like now, I'm invested in the fight. Like now, it's kind of fun. Like I've already written off the money. Like if it showed up, I'd be like, woohoo, we'd have a big party. But it's been a year and a half. I've survived. I don't know. But
that is going to be a nice day
when it shows up, dude. I'm taking you to McDonald's.
I feel like they're gonna have the kill squads waiting outside.
I'm expecting Grimace to be there.
They're gonna put you down. They're gonna take the check and run.
You know what? If that's how it goes down, I had a good run. I know. If that it was the, you know what? Nobody bought IRS on the block on the grid. Like even money was some sort of drug deal gone bad. And so on my death. So IRS Goon Squad, I cash out. Either way, I win. Well, or my wife does. So yeah, so that's my personal story of woe. But this is happening. But the fact that it's happening to me, it's happening. Whatever. I'll get through it. I'll figure it out.
Leaves me speechless.
But how many people is this happening to? I mean, just my small CPA in one small corner of Pennsylvania says he's got multiple clients going through the same thing. And he said, I'm the only one that took it to the level I took it to. Most of them are just sitting around hoping it resolves itself.
Yeah.
And a lot of them paid the bill, like you said. Like they cut the check because they didn't want to have liens put against them.
Well, I wouldn't have sent $3,000 if they owed me money.
Yeah,
I wouldn't accept no, sorry, you owe me money.
Would you have sent it?
I wouldn't.
Because it says on there,
no,
taxes and interest will be, or interest and late fees will be applied, and if you don't respond within a certain amount of time, liens will go against you.
How are you gonna have a late fee when they owe you money?
What if they never admit they owe you money? I mean, who oversees the IRS? Who's the higher power? You have a company screws you, you can go to multiple different entities. You can even have the government.
Well, if you have all the financial records, I mean, what are they going to do? How are they going to argue?
But if they
you don't just get to say what you want to say. Like, here's all the numbers in the financial.
But I guess that's the point. Can they?
I kind of think that's how it works.
Can they just say what they want to say?
You're the top dog. You can say whatever you want to say.
There's nobody else I can send them to.
Well,
right?
I'm not so sure. Like, I suppose they can say whatever they want, but like they still have to execute. They still have to go to they're not just going to show up, take your house. Like, I mean, you still have to go through a process or some kind of proceeding, right?
I would say
you're going to show up with all your information and be like, no, they're wrong. Right here is everything, and blah blah blah.
Show up where though?
Well, whatever happens once they come to try to seize assets, I don't know how.
Well,
that
they're
works.
not going to seize the assets. They're
Who's
going to
gonna
send the
send-
bank, or they're
send
going to
the-
send
huh?
a third party company, and they're just going to say, "Look, we're just doing a job."
You're gonna have to figure it out in the courts, so
Yeah.
you'll be out of the house.
You can sue the
Oh.
IRS because I was
Yeah.
getting ready to sue. It's complicated. You need a lawyer. It's not easy, but you can. So I guess the courts would be the only place.
So I guess all we can do is cut people's heads off. Is that where we're at?
So we're going back to Aztec
Sorry,
times.
sorry.
You know what? I'm not even against that anymore.
It's just like it's despicable.
I don't know. My point is, I guess
So you
the
keep
courts
you
would
keep
be the-
pressing my buttons, you know. It's like you're doing. It's like you set your itinerary to every fifth one. You put a press Jimmy button thing on there.
I will say, never are my agendas positive. There's never a lot of happy-go-lucky shit in here. At no point has this group ever hugged it out on the podcast. Like, it's generally a pretty bad news.
You probably have I bet Jimmy does on this.
I do pick stuff that I
I
think
bet
will
Jimmy
set you off.
responds with.
I like it when your right eye gets twitchy. All right. I personally, I'd like it more if Tyler sat next to you, but you know, whatever. If it's for entertainment, I'll take a Will Smith. He's got calloused hands though. It's gonna hurt. It's like he's been practicing on a tree trunk.
No, they're not anymore.
No, they're really not. They actually look kind of feminine. What's
Yeah.
going on with you? You need moisturizer? What's happening over here?
No, it's don't do stuff anymore.
Yeah.
As much stuff.
Well, you're in management now. You just yell at people and point fingers. Like, do shit. Anyway, so obviously I'm triggering Jimmy. How do you feel about all this baloney?
I
BS?
still don't like the IRS.
You've never had a run-in with them though, specifically.
No, but I still don't like them.
Come
Yeah,
on, there's got
you
there's
could-
got to be some positive things that the IRS does.
What?
Are we just picking a negative agenda to meet
No.
the picture we want to paint?
I
Are
feel
we being like everyone else?
the only person who's going to say that the IRS does good is someone who works for the IRS? Someone who doesn't have to change the toner.
Well,
Look,
because-
nobody's stopping you from painting a rosy picture. What's the positive?
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure if somebody was going and auditing a business and they found some corrupt dudes,
Okay.
some corrupt people, and then they feel justified in their job. They feel like, because that's how they lure people in, right? There are people out there that are criminal enterprises running businesses, so they send the IRS out to audit them, right? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
But then 50% of the time the IRS is doing the right thing and 50% of the time they're not. That's what's infuriating.
But is it safe to assume that those criminal enterprises have enough knowledge to launder their money properly so that the IRS doesn't necessarily find that?
Well, but the object of the IRS is to try to find that type of activity, right? I mean, do you think the IRS was created just as a criminal enterprise right out of the gate? Or do you
No,
think
of
they were...
course not. And who created the IRS? Was it FDR?
I mean,
I don't recall. I kind of think so.
I think it was.
it was
Nuclear
because
or whatever.
people were doing things wrong, and then they enforced it. But then they realized, well, if the IRS is going to come get us, we got to get our buddies in the IRS so that when they come after us, our buddies are coming at us. And then they work it from the back end. If things aren't rolling the way we want,
I never like to get work from the back end.
if things aren't rolling the way we want,
Not like that.
you get your buddies in
Keep it classy.
politics, and then your buddies are coming at you. You know what I mean, that's what they do. They exploit the system. It's not that the system is necessarily bad. It's just that these douchebags keep getting in and wrecking everything. It's just like, it's annoying. And then it's like, once they get in there, you can't get them out. You know what I mean? Because then they create things like union that can protect. They're hiding under the shelter of the union. That's the thing. The union's protecting the bad people too.
Well, I mean, that's a whole other episode too. Like,
And they're not to say that there's not good people in the union. There's still good people in the union. And then there's dirtbags in the union. So
What do you
I don't know how do you get at that core of society that's just rotten pit
well, it all comes down to the same thing: accountability.
and cut their head off?
I mean, right now, from what I can read, from what I can tell, there doesn't appear to be any accountability. The IRS can kind of do what they want, and nobody gets in trouble.
Well, that's because they have somebody planted at the top that's erasing what they get paid to erase.
So, well,
And then they only enforce.
we don't actually know that, right? I mean, this is just
Well,
we're assuming.
yeah, really, we don't know this.
I try to deal in what I can verify. Like I assume there's corrupt BS going on.
Well, we know there's.
But we
corrupt-
know for a fact there's some crazy crap going on. We know reports of crazy crap.
That's what they like, the fact that nobody can prove anything, right? Because it's all hearsay or whatever. But then as soon as something proof does come out, it gets swept under the carpet and some new headline comes out.
Well, that is true. Anytime one of these whistleblowers
Yeah.
comes out of the IRS,
They
disappear pretty
the
quick.
whole. It's one whole team working together, and they got everybody positioned in each place that they need in position to hide the story.
I will go
Yeah.
back to the same thing I say every time we have this conversation. We have one main problem in this country, and that's the media. The media provides a level of accountability, theoretically, that bypasses all internal politics. All you need is a couple of whistleblowers and a person with the will to write the story, and for the story to be distributed. And public outrage alone in a free republic should bring about change, at least on some level. But we don't have a media that gives a crap.
Well, we don't have journalists.
We don't have journalists. You're right.
That's the
I think journalists are coming though. Like I've noticed a
right.
definite change, in all that. I think people are not listening to the media too much anymore. They don't. I think they're pretty much their cover's blown. Everybody gets it, and this is why they're trying to divide the country with things like these riots and all this like woke crap, because everybody sort of was seeing the light. Everybody was coming together. All this anger and hate for each other, I think, was starting to wash away, and all the focus was starting to become on the system and the leaders and how things were operating. And then they were like, whoa, we got to break this up. And then this is now what we have now.
See, I think it was 4 years of journalists not having to do a damn thing. All they had to do was wake up, get a cup of coffee, go on Twitter and say, what did Donald Trump say last night? And bang, your job for the day is done. Just write a story about whatever Donald Trump said overnight, because he never slept. He's a robot. And that'd be 4 years of their life was just trolling Donald Trump on Twitter.
Yeah, I almost feel like journalism died when technology, when the headline
I think
became the sell.
The beginning of the death of journalism was 24-hour cable news.
Yeah, well, yeah, truly back then, yeah. But I still feel like you had some newspapers and stuff who did true reporting and journalism.
Well, no, it was this massive consolidation. So now just about every radio station in the country is iHeart.
Yep.
Just about every newspaper is owned by the same conglomerate.
Yep.
I mean, they're all telling the same story. There's nobody doing investigative journalism.
Yeah,
Do you guys know?
Now you've got independent media coming up, so it's starting again. But
I think I mentioned this
takes time.
before. It's I'm sorry, now I interrupted you and I can't remember the name of it.
Was it about tuna boats?
No, the
Sorry, I love that hat. I love that hat.
the publication. Is there a tuna on my hat?
No, you got like
but
you look like the dangerous
you would
catch.
fit into Wicked Tuna.
Wicked tuna, that's the one.
You'd be like maybe the captain.
You got like the wool knit cap thing going on.
We got a big one on the line.
He's even got the short sleeve shirt with the
undershirt.
thermal undershirt. Like
I'm ready to go on the crab
you
boat.
look like you're gonna pull a 600-pound tuna up onto this bar, slap it down.
Deadliest
And just
catch,
start
Wicked
gutting
Tuna. Either one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I interrupted the conversation and I can't remember.
No, you actually had a thought you wanted to say, and I totally just called you a tuna boat fisherman.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
No, I
that
was.
one's on me.
Yeah. I have to think of it. I told you guys a couple weeks ago this topic came up, and I said about a media publication, the one that got burned in Tokyo or Hong Kong or where they. All right, just go back. I'll come back to it.
Okay.
I have to think of it.
We'll be here.
All right.
Let us know. Yeah, look it up. That's a good idea. Yeah, it's got to be on the interwebs. Probably have information on it. So, I mean, I don't know. I got to imagine what we're talking about here, Tyler, while Jimmy looks that up, probably extends to just about every federal agency, right? I mean, these guys are some of the most visible because every year they take your money. Every 2 weeks they take your money. But,
That all
I mean,
alphabet boys are
anything that's bureaucratic
100%.
and not elected is going to fall into the same trap, right? I mean, the FBI has been absolutely getting skewered lately.
FBI, ATF,
CIA, ATF.
DEA.
I don't know what's going on with the ATF lately. And those guys are nuts.
They have free range.
You're right.
I won't even go into that. Never mind.
That could be another show.
That'd be an entire show.
But you're right. I mean, some of the stuff coming out of the head of the ATF, like the things they're saying, it doesn't even make sense.
They essentially, the ATF has the power. So the way the ATF works is what their interpretation of the law. So who's in charge, how they decide, and how they skew the views of the rest of the department can determine what's legal and what's illegal.
And that position is appointed.
And they can literally turn.
So it's a political position.
It's a political position. Yep, it's appointed, and they can literally turn millions of good people who did things legally
Into criminals.
They can turn them into criminals overnight or with just the stroke of a pen, which is completely against the ideals of a republic.
Well, it's messed up.
Democratic republic. Yeah, it's like there's some stuff going on in that world. There's a thing called Form 1 suppressors. A Form 1 is where you manufacture your own stuff. So if you're going to build a suppressor and you want to do it yourself, you submit your plans to the ATF. They approve it. They send it back to you, say you're good to build. Just make sure you serialize it. And then there were these companies that sprung up to give you the components. They machined the components but didn't manufacture the suppressor. So you could buy a tube from one guy, buy the baffles from someone else, but they weren't technically called baffles because you had to drill them out and make sure that they're right, and then you assemble everything. They started raiding these people, and now they're reaching out
The
to
people who were manufacturing?
they were just basically taking a block of metal and hollowing it out or make them into these little things called baffles. And they started raiding these people, got all their records, and now are reaching out, and they have their own records, but they're reaching out to anyone who had a Form 1 saying, did you manufacture your components, or did you buy your components and then drill them out? If you drilled them out, now you technically own an illegal suppressor, even though we approved it.
Why?
Because they're saying you bought suppressor components.
So it wasn't manufactured by you.
They're basically saying unless you did it from the raw materials.
But somebody mined the ore and turned it into
Exactly.
steel. I mean, where do you draw the line on that?
And then Form 1s have been around forever. I mean,
that's ridiculous. You filed the form. They know you have it. I mean,
They
it's all
approved your
semantics
design.
beyond that. They approve the design.
Yep.
As long as you're within the design specs, it doesn't really matter at what point you got a little bit of help.
that's how their world works, though. It just nope, that's not good. You did that in good faith based on our interpretation of what you were doing.
Well, and I'm waiting for the time when my AR is illegal because all of a sudden they change the specifications on a pistol and I have to get a tax stamp. Or
You saw the
no,
checklist that they came out with to determine if you had an illegal AR. There was a checklist based on attachments and stuff you had on. Like, there's very specific rules: what makes one a pistol, what makes one a rifle, how long or how short.
Did
the
they
barrels
change
can
a
be.
lot from the previous?
They haven't done anything yet, but they come out. I think this was mid-2021 with a checklist that essentially gave you a chance to go through and score yourself. And if you reached a score of like 4, you technically had a short barrel rifle, which is an immediate problem.
I
So
would
it's just-
I would just change out my grip or my stock before I'd ever get a tax stamp and just turn it into a pistol again.
Yeah, no. So the way that worked was you couldn't just throw on. So you can always go. You can go from a pistol to a rifle, and I think you can go back to a pistol.
You know, and it doesn't.
It's kind of
At the end of the day,
but
it doesn't matter because all of my guns fell off that boat.
Yeah, mine too.
I know. That lake.
I've never owned a gun. I don't like guns.
No,
I think
they're terrifying.
stupid.
I think they should all be given to the government.
I think so too.
They
Because
fell.
I trust
Oh,
them.
they fell off the boat this week.
No, it was a while ago. I can't give you a specific date. It was too long ago.
Oh, really?
It was right after my last
That big
purchase.
fishing trip.
Yeah.
What about-
Remember the big fishing trip
we all
with
went
me
on
and
it.
all the
Well,
guys?
it had to be last week because you had that one on the show.
Yeah,
Oh, it was right after the show.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right after the show, I went fishing.
we went out that weekend ice fishing.
It fell right down the hole.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't know. It just kind of slipped in.
I don't remember which lake it was, though.
No.
Which lake were we at?
I don't remember. We were pretty drunk.
Lake Forget Me Not.
It might have been Lake Forget Me Not. I don't know. Whatever. It's in that lake, though. You can
Probably
probably,
Poppack.
find it. There's so many guns in America and lakes right now. It's disturbing. And silencers. Suppressors, not silencers. So.
Okay, I know the.
Oh yeah, hit me. What do you got? You found it.
The Epoch Times.
Yes.
Talk about it.
Okay.
Did you guys ever follow that?
No, I didn't follow it.
Dude, you guys got it. Yeah, that's a great. This dude Josh. I think his name's Josh. I can't find it because it's not letting me search by his name. I follow him, but
Well, we're out of time.
you
so give me a quick
seriously gotta check out. Put it
Epoch
on.
Times.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
put it on there so you don't
All right,
forget.
real quick. We're running
Look
over
at it.
time, so let's just take an Epoch Times.
Yeah, these guys are really good. At least I think they are, and they're really like.
So what's their shtick? They have a shtick? What's their thing?
Well, I don't know what to say. I just think that they really. I think they are good journalists. They follow stories. They like really do a lot of research, put things together. Like they report on it. Like they, you know, you can go on YouTube and follow the reporters, and they're really thorough, really good. I mean,
Epoch Times. All right, done.
I just.
You know what? I'll start reading this, and then we'll do a recap.
Yeah.
I have not read this. I don't go to the site. Cool. Well, we are out of time. Do we have any last minute ditches at information or anything useful?
I think we need honest people to overthrow the government
Jesus Christ.
and
Lord.
IRS. And
Last week was cannibalism. Now it's revolution.
It's getting
Yeah.
so dark.
Cutting heads off.
So dark.
Well,
in here.
I don't know. What do you do? I don't know. What do you do when things are such a mess?
You run for school board.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I do.
You run.
Be the change
You
you
never.
see.
You're never.
That's right, buddy.
You never get a step ahead. You're always a step behind evil because it's plotting and planning, and you don't know until it happens, and then you're chasing it. That's what's annoying about it.
Yeah, but not in my school district.
You're not even.
No, I lost.
Yeah. Exactly. Why'd you lose?
I'm not very popular. It's, I mean, you guys don't even really like me that much. I mean, it's just all the sweet podcast money keeps you coming back week after week.
Outside of your opinion, you're a pretty level-headed guy.
outside of your thoughts, your brain works pretty
Yeah,
well.
as long as you don't open your mouth, you're a good guy.
Or make eye contact with any of the other humans.
Well, sometimes you'll slide your opinion aside to do like what really is, the right thing.
Well,
Like,
generally
I mean-
speaking, I don't agree with most of what I say. I do a lot of research, but it's all entertainment. I mean,
Yeah.
we're just having fun here. So if anybody's making life decisions off this podcast, I
Yeah,
pity
wow.
those individuals. Like, that's
Wow.
a horrific choice. We got to call it. Everyone, thank you. Jimmy, thank you. Tyler, thank you, man. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks for joining in.
The Broken Agenda Podcast. Sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.